Hi, Steve Jobs has passed on, and here in the information age, it's my thought that somebody that big, like the electrical giants Tesla or Edison, assessing their effect on us will be something that ought to keep us busy now and then, just about all the time, and appreciating the gift that these innovators brought to us, that I'm using right now, for example, etc., that affects us every day. One would think that maybe once upon a time, that which was electricity could have been used so well that World War I and World War II would never have happened because of that information age. Well, I'd like to think that as a thought for an infinite legacy, that Mr. Jobs and the other people who are still more easily accessible, at least to some people, as eternal beings, Mr. Gates and golly, I don't know who else to thank for when it comes to big names, because I just don't. And these are improvised. The crayonings are improvised, not rehearsed. That's going to change. Okay, so Mr. Jobs out there everywhere, sort of like his work. Now when it comes to the marketplace, the information age is fighting a couple of things that are BAD, which means healthy in German. More on that on some language festival show. And what I got here is O for bad oil. Good oil is great. Almost everything we see that's good in our lives that is man-made is good oil. Good drugs are great, but bad drugs made bad on purpose are very bad. And W over here. And W, as we all know, is for W is for weaponry. Now, good weapons are how we won World War II. Okay? And how we protect ourselves from having bad people come and take away the freedoms that we should cherish here in the United States. So, but we have bad oil. It's when it makes things no one needs and pollutes unnecessarily and is applied improperly. And when the mistakes are almost on purpose, it seems, or you can make a case the mistakes are practically on purpose because there's a better way and people are just using the same old way. Okay, drugs. Whether it's drugs to make you healthy, to keep you from being sick, whether it's drugs that give you a fighting chance to get your immune system together and healing structures together so you'll get better, or drugs that just make you feel better. Good drugs are great. Drugs that are made poorly or applied poorly are very bad. Weapons, we already covered that. Good weapons save freedom, bad weapons threaten freedom. But these three, oil, drugs, and weapons, in the information age, we can tell. If you survive being drug around the street, even by your buddies, how many times do you see that it's they got things, so oil makes things, and they got drugs, whoever they are, and they got weapons, and if those three things are combined to make your life bad, there's a good chance that you're going to have to struggle a lot harder to make your life good. So, there's bad, and that was on 21. So Mr. Jobs has passed on. Thought here is that this ought to be neat for us to think. For one thing, I'm a firm believer that I'm a firm believer in the universe is a much groovier place than most people are allowed to think. What we're mostly allowed to think is it's kind of groovy insofar as you can get away with stuff. Which, considering what some of the stuff that's been illegal through the years, that's sort of a charming way to look at the deficiencies of our legal meritocracies and the economies that are borne out by them. I personally believe that a real simple solution is to get people who work the old-fashioned kind of jobs that we call work, get their take-home pay accelerated, and skip the banks and skip the governments. Just take the central government, Washington, and have the president say, here's a big wad of cash. And so whenever anybody works, and then let him have his men in uniform who are the assessors, and they find jobs that are approved, new jobs. So construction jobs. And now if the construction worker says, well, I'll hire a bunch of minimum wage people, and I can get it done that way. I can find something for them to do. Something to help. Well, those people and his other buddies, he says, I don't have the money to pay what those buddies are worth. But if you want a real job, you bring your eagle eye scout, and he brings his camera to the job. Well, maybe the job ought to be purples. And your eagle eye scout brings his camera to the job, and he leaves his camera behind. I show him the job every day, and when the paychecks come out, those people that need a bump in pay, you don't go through me. I just pay them with me and the current government. However, those banks that aren't working but we want a real economy. The people I work, this is a contractor in the city or state or tribe or county talking to this federal assessor here. Give him an F. And this is president's money here. Give him a P. So the contractor, in link with that money, wherever that money is, people who got that money, put people to work through whatever federal grants they got, and for an immediate stimulus, you get a team of these people, like say they were in Afghanistan building stuff, or maybe they've been in the Army Corps of Engineers, veterans. Give them some authority. They go, they call this job here good enough. And so when the identical blue people, or nearly identical blue people like myself, go to work, well, first they get this number that looks like not enough, right? Okay, but it's like you do something. And then comes this other number that is ghastly, and it's got all this like writing that's your part of the tax loophole stuff. And then here comes what not enough money. But because the job is being reported to this guy, and the president has got this big pool of money. How did he get it? He said, I'm the president, and it's in the nation's interest because we're at war. And I'm going to take the War Powers Act, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of money. And he just tell the judiciary and everything else, neener, neener, neener. I'm the government, I appropriated the money. And so this guy works for him, sees this job, likes it. The contractor and the city report the job to him. And when the paycheck is cut, they send the paycheck to him, and with his authority, he gets the presidential money, and whammo!